Well, welcome back, everybody. If you've been with us so far for the last two, we're in episode 21, and this is going to be part 3 of episode 21. Our guest star, Joe, had to leave, so it's just Chris and Kent for episode 21, Kenter at Your Own Risk, top 90s horror movies. And now we are finally getting to what everybody's been waiting for, Kent to give his fucking list of 3,233 movies that he really thinks were the top horror movies in the 1990s.
Okay, just subtract 3,280, okay?
Right.
Also, I just read that my phone, Joe texted me, he's like, I really love Anaconda. I would have liked talking about it. So there we go. All right. So I have a top 25 with knowing full well that we've discussed most of these films ad nauseum. So for listeners, don't expect there to be a lot of heavy dialogue. Maybe 5 to 10 of the films we might actually touch more on, but we've touched on most of these either tonight or earlier in our lifetime. But I know number 25 is a film that we've never quite touched upon, and it was a childhood favorite. It came on in 1990. It was a made-for-TV film, and it aired on USA and possibly Lifetime. It was Frank Darabont's first film, a film called Buried Alive, starring Tim Matheson and Jennifer Jason Leigh. Have you ever seen this, Chris?
I have not ever seen it, no.
I cannot find a copy legally or illegally. Apparently Britain has a DVD copy, but my goodness, trying to find that is not an easy thing. And this isn't to be confused with like the Tobin Bell film of 2008. Just quick summarization. This husband and wife, she was cheating on him. I think he was like an architect of some kind or a construction worker. She poisons him, gets the money, he dies. But he's buried alive. He comes back from the living, hangs out in the basement, traps her and her lover, and then he builds a trap to end all traps. And it was really sinister, A, for 1990, and B, it was sinister for a made-for-TV film. And, basically he kind of made, a rat maze, and it's awesome. It's such a solid little movie. And I just watched it so much when I was a kid. I thoroughly loved it, and I was shocked to find out that Frank Darabont, who's done only a handful of things as far as a director, but he was involved with that. So, I don't know. Happy memories.
You know what I'm finding interesting, too, what I see, is that they made a sequel, and guess who directed it?
Who?
Tim Matheson.
No shit. Yeah, the UK or British DVD is that one. I'd like to try to get my hands on a copy of it somehow. Even Vudu doesn't have it digitally, so we'll have to scrounge around the internet and go to all dark corners to try to find it, I suppose, because I would love to see it again. Number 24 is a movie from a writer that makes up probably 40% of my list. Stephen King had a great 80s, but he also had a very good 90s, underappreciated 90s, and this is one of his more underappreciated works, Thinner.
Yeah.
I liked it. I liked it a lot. I'm not in love with it, but I've seen it probably, 5 to 7 times, and every time I enjoy it. I like Joe, I don't know how to pronounce it, Mantegna?
Yeah. That's exactly how you say it.
I don't know. It was a perfectly, perfect length film for what it was. And I like the ending, too. The ending was cool. I don't know. It's just a fun little film.
Yeah, it was. I watched it for the first time maybe 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah, it's pretty good.
All right. Moving on. I kind of feel I have this movie down too low, but I did not feel like readjusting and renumbering stuff. Sleepy Hollow with Johnny Depp, Christopher Walken, and who was the girl?
Christina Ricci.
Yeah, there we go. Also, I feel like Jeffrey Jones is in so many things that I love, and I know what he did in real life, whatever. I'm just talking about him as an actor. Love the dude as an actor.
Yeah, it was a good movie. I really enjoyed that version of Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if it. I don't know. I feel like it doesn't get enough love, and I actually forgot that it came out in the '90s. I thought it was more early 2000s, so it was pleasantly surprising.
Like, I love the scene with the fucking blood where it just keeps squirting him in the face.
Oh God, yes. Also, it's one of like, I don't know, 8 or 9 movies that I have on here that I rated 7.2. Now, I didn't order anything because of 7.2. I'm just saying that 7.2 is like a very common rating on my website, which is 9deuce.com. So, just wanted to throw that out there. Number 22, I don't know. I feel like you and I may have touched upon this once upon a time. Another Stephen King, Needful Things with Ed Harris, Amanda Plummer, and of course the late, great Max von Sydow as Gaunt, Leland Gaunt. We talked about this before?
I don't believe we have, because I'm not going to lie, that's one that I've never actually seen.
Well, it's on my Vudu, so you know what to do.
I might actually see it.
I really like it, and you know it's funny. Like I keep seeing Amanda Plummer kind of popping up here and there. I like when I look up stuff. Like she was in the Tales from the Crypt episode that I liked. It was possibly the first season or season 2. I think it was season 1 though. I don't know. She's kind of she's into some shit that I like, and like I said, I love Max von Sydow, and Ed Harris is now he's getting to an age where I feel like he's limited sometimes in his roles, but he's had a really good career when given an opportunity. And he was the main star in this, so. And there was also a Rick and Morty episode basically parodying the film, so. For any Rick and Morty people.
Gotcha. Such fun.
Number 21. Believe it or not, going back to Stephen King here, this should be higher up on my list. Once again, didn't feel like dicking around. Storm of the Century. I don't know. Did you ever see it? It was like a ABC miniseries.
I've seen parts of it. I don't remember it though. Like that one, I know. I want to say I saw it relatively recently, within like the last 4 or 5 years, but it, I don't remember it enough to like really comment on it like I would say like The Stand or those Happy Golden Years or some of his other miniseries.
Oh man, so you watched Golden Years?
Yeah.
What a failed missed opportunity, because that got good and then it just ended for a variety of reasons, which made me sad.
Yeah, but I was expecting it to go somewhere where it didn't really go.
It never got. It felt like it never had the opportunity to get there. Yeah. But Storm of the Century is about. It has a decent cast. It has Tim Daly from Wings, the guy that wasn't Steven Weber. Has Jeffrey DeMunn, who's just been in so many Stephen King things, plus he was Dale in Walking Dead. And Comfior, who plays the main bad guy, Andre Lenoge. And Lenoge is different wording for Legion. And if you know shit about Legion, then you kind of have an idea about what he's all about. And it takes place, I don't know, probably somewhere up in fucking Maine. And there's, this horrible snowstorm. And he needs an apprentice to pass down. So he wants one of the 7 kids of a certain age. And the parents have to choose which kid to give to him, or else he's going to kill everybody. It's a really cynical story, quite frankly. Like, imagine a town being under siege and everybody's going to die, if you don't offer up one child to be an apprentice to basically be the fucking devil, quintessentially.
And that sounds pretty dark.
It really is. Like, it's a dark, dark movie, and I love it. So, I wish more people had seen it. It's one of my mom's favorite movies to watch in the winter, which is weird, because normally she's just busy watching Hallmark Channel, but then she wants to watch Storm of the Century. So, yay. That's all I'll say about that. Number 20, I feel like, did somebody mention House on Haunted Hill, or no?
That was on my honorable mention list.
Always think it's a cool movie. Think the beginning's cool. I think a lot of it's cool. I think a lot of the videography, like with the crazy head rapidly moving, like people moving rapidly, like that was overly abused for like the first half of the 2000 to 2005. A lot of stuff came from this film, but it's, I don't know. I don't feel like a lot of people talk about it anymore. And obviously, like, the original is a great film. Don't get me wrong, but this took it into a modern era and had Lisa Loeb, the one-hit wonder who sang "Stay" back like in 1994, 95. She was in it. Famke Janssen, that name's popping up again. I love her. Unfortunately, Chris Kattan's involved, but he doesn't detract much. I think Jeffrey Rush is in it. There's a lot of talent in it, and yeah, now that you mentioned it, I was happy you mentioned it at the very least. So, abnormally low for some people, but number 19, I have Army of Darkness. I don't need to say anything more.
It's low. You feel it, but it's okay.
That's fine. Probably abnormally high on a lot of people's list. Number 18, The Faculty. Big fan.
I think that's one that people have gone back to and elevated on their lists now compared to where it sat when it came out.
Oh yeah, I remember it was kind of almost a joke. As like a lot of people just flat out insulted the film and didn't really like it. But now to go back and you see all the names that were in it and how successful so many of them were, and Jon Stewart, it also had a good soundtrack. Like there was a lot to really like in that film that at the time people just didn't appreciate. I would agree with that. So, that's Faculty. Number 17 was Event Horizon, also in your honorable mentions.
I know a ton of people love that movie, and I've only ever been able to get lukewarm about it. I don't know. I don't want to detract from anybody's enjoyment of it, but it heads up so many best sci-fi horror, best 90s horror, best blah 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 horror, and I just find it about a 7 out of 10. But I can give it props because in that decade there wasn't a lot of actual sci-fi horror going on, and the director's cut is a better version. At least you get an extra 2 minutes of actual scary stuff that was cut from the theatrical release.
Would you agree that it maybe is more beloved because of a lack of good sci-fi horror of the decade?
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely say that that's probably one of the big reasons. I mean, and it's a scary premise. That a spaceship travels into hell by accident, and when it comes back, the spaceship is the fucking bad guy.
Yeah. And Sam Neill is phenomenal in that movie.
It's also got one of my favorite comedy lines in it. You want something hot and black in you? How about some coffee? No, how about some coffee then?
That's fantastic. I haven't seen the movie in a long time, so I don't remember that line, but...
It's when they're waking up from the cryosleep towards the beginning.
Oh, okay. Weir has long been one of mine and Ron's favorite names to use for like a video game character. So just wanted to give it props. And 17's not too terribly high, but I just wanted to give it some recognition. Moving right along, another film we've talked about before. I Know What You Did Last Summer. Piggybacked off of Scream. Tried helping bring back like the teen slasher era. And it was just, the first two were the first one was successful and the second one was semi-successful. And I don't know, there's 3 or 4 of them in total. But, the first one was it was definitely the best, and without a doubt. And, it was what it was. It was a simple concept. There was nothing, I don't know, there was nothing ingenious. They didn't reinvent the wheel. They just, gave a movie, and it was entertaining for the time because we didn't have many movies like that coming out. It filled a hole in our lives, if you will.
Yes.
So, number 15. I was surprised Joe didn't mention this. I don't know if you even mentioned this. Tales from the Hood?
Nope. I did not mention it, and yes, Joe didn't either.
I know Joe loves it too. So like I definitely thought it was gonna be on Joe's, and when he didn't mention it, I thought, well, Chris will mention. No, I wanted to put this higher, and I could have. I mean, I could interchange anything, but whatever. As long as I made the list, I'm happy with it. We all know I'm a huge fan of Tales from the Hood. I'll always be a fan of. You want the shit, you'll be knee deep in the shit. That's all I got. It's a fantastic movie, and there's not many. To this day, there's still not many mostly black horror films. You got the blaxploitation stuff. You got Blackula. You got Tales from the Hood. There's another one I'm going to bring up in a little bit, and then we just recently have had Get Out, which wasn't really even mostly black, but it was based around a black character, and then Us. So I don't know. It's very good. And hey, in this era of social justice, come on, people, fucking watch Tales from the Hood. All right, there you go. I'm standing with goddamn Tales from the Hood. Number 14. I will go with The Stand. You know my love affair with that movie, and like back in March, I started watching it. I still haven't finished it. I still haven't finished the blog. And that single blog is holding up my whole website because I refuse to post anything until I post that damn blog. I have like all of our podcasts uploaded. They're ready to be posted. I just need to get through this freaking roadblock that is The Stand, which probably makes it sound like I hate the movie. I love the movie so much, though, that I put so much into the blog. It's probably going to be unreadable by the time I post it. Makes me sad.
It does. It should.
Yeah. Number 13, From Dusk Till Dawn. We've talked about it. We love it. I love it. Did you mean what you said back there? One of my favorite lines from any movie, quite frankly. Number 12, John Carpenter's Vampires. I took a little offense when Joe was like, "Hey, has John Carpenter done anything great since then?" Yeah,
that was actually me. I mean, it wasn't Joe. To put your anger where it should be. Well,
Chris, you dick! You made me believe Joe was the asshole.
I forgot about Joe. I forgot about vampires. But to be fair, all I was really thinking of was Ghosts of Mars. So
fair enough. Well, did you like Cigarette Burns?
I haven't seen it, so.
Okay. That's also on my Vudu, in case you get interested.
Okay.
James Woods is fun.
It's a fun movie, but I don't think it's a good movie.
I would agree with that. Okay.
I really like James Woods. I really like The Priest.
Padre, yeah.
I just think the vampires are kind of like Valak. It's kind of just like generic vampire bad guy kind of.
Valak could have been so much cooler, and Mark Boone Jr. could have been a bigger role.
I like the guy who they got to play him too. I mean, dude's fucking. He's a writer as well as an actor, but I've seen him be, do some decent stuff and other things. So
Right. Yeah. Number 11. This pained me to have this low, but Stephen King's it. Tim Curry.
yeah, it's good. It's hard to hold up though. Like I watched it again just in the last couple of years, and there's some really good parts, and then there are parts that just like it is so old.
It makes you cringe, right?
Yeah, and that's not even comparing it to the newer movies. That's just comparing it to watching something from that time period now.
The special effects that they tried pulling off. I mean, I remember like in the early to mid 2000s, I still cringed because I'm like, oh, that could have been so much better if they would have just done this or that, but they didn't have the budget or the technology or the foresight, whatever the case may be. And despite the really talented cast, yeah, there's a lot of it that don't hold up. But as a kid, when it came out, yeah, that movie freaked the fuck out of me. And I've got to put it on here. Plus, I think I've probably told you this before, but my shower curtain is a black and white picture of Tim Curry's Pennywise.
That would fuck with me every time I took a shower. I'm not gonna lie.
Yep, and I knew it would fuck with anybody that came here, and that's why I did it, because I'm a horrible person. No shame in that. Okay, number 10, Exorcist Part 3. We talked about it, moving on. Number 9, Blair Witch Project, nothing more to add, moving on. Number 8, Wes Craven's New Nightmare, been there, done that. Number 7, though, I'm not disappointed because I didn't quite expect Joe, and I wasn't sure if you would have it, but my goodness. Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight.
Yeah.
I fucking love that movie. I love William Sadler and Billy Zane, dude.
Yeah, I have a soft spot for that movie. Again, going back to when we talked about it last one, I'm doing the live action thing with Kevin in my house.
Right,
but,
yeah.
But yeah, like I don't like. I don't think I could just. I couldn't put it in there and kick something else that I liked better off down the list.
I understand. It's a movie that I've watched so many times that, like, it's a movie that is pure 90s. Like, if you tried to remake it today with all the technology, it's just, it wouldn't be a success. It belongs in the mid-90s, and that's fine. So, my number 6 movie is a movie that I held off talking about. People Under the Stairs. Really surprised nobody had that.
I don't really remember it too much. I'm not gonna lie.
It's just this. I think it was one or two black dudes and this little boy. They break into this rich white people's house, and like they're the people that are like the landlords of all these like kind of rundown buildings that most of the black people live in. So they know that there's money there, and they break in, and all hell breaks loose. And Wes Craven did it. It was the movie I was alluding to when I was talking about how many black films there were. This was definitely a film that I felt belongs in that sentiment. I liked it. I really, really, truly liked it. I saw it in the theater. I've seen it at least 10 times. I don't know. It's definitely not for everybody. I'm not even going to try to say it's for everybody. But for me personally, it will always hold a special place in my heart. So, yeah. Moving to number 5. We kind of, sort of, but not really talked about it. Scream 2.
Yeah.
Like,
we've been over this before. It's probably the best cast in fucking movies.
I'm not going to say it's better than Scream 1. I'm just going to say, though, it's really freaking good.
It's just more.
Yeah. So, that's where I'm at. Number 4, Scream 1. So, we've talked about that. Number 3, I think you brought this up in your honorable mentions. Cube.
Yes.
I'll always vouch for this film. I have no problem. I don't care who it is. Somebody comes to my place and wants to watch a movie. I'm like, you okay with a little death? If so, we're going to watch some Cube. And I've never had a single person be like, oh, well, it was only okay. Everybody likes that movie. It's just a good movie.
It's so unique.
Was it the first of its kind where you just get random strangers put together to try to survive?
I mean, you could probably make a case for it going back to Agatha Christie with like 10 Little Indians. But yeah, like for what it is, Cube was like the first movie like that. With the puzzles and being isolated in a death trap kind of situation.
Yeah, like I feel like it's really one of the forefathers at the very least, and made on such a cheap budget. Just really well done. Also made in Canada. I know we were talking about it, and I was like, when we were talking about Canada, I was like, Cube was, and I was like, no, I'm just gonna wait. I'll wait my turn. So that was my turn. Number 2, Stir of Echoes. I think all 3 of us had it on our list.
Yeah.
So I'd say Stir of Echoes was the overall winner of the night, quite frankly, because I think all of us had it relatively high. And my number 1, you knew what my number 1 was, right? Like, you knew this ahead of time?
No.
No? Well, it's definitely going to be, if I get a third tattoo, it's going to be of Mr. Tony Todd from...
Oh, Candyman.
Dude.
I'm sorry. When you go through 25 movies, my brain becomes numb by the time we get to 3. So. I'm still here.
Oh, shoot. I was muted that whole time. All right. Anyway, yeah, my brain is mush. I just want to add that the set pieces, like the graffiti on the wall, the little boy,
when he jumps backwards out of the window.
Yeah, dude. Like just how gross that one toilet was. Vanessa Williams being in it. Like a lot of people forget Vanessa Williams was in it. It just. The backstory, as Joe alluded to, everything about it is just such a great movie. And although it's not like my highest rated as far as my ratings go, it's always going to be my favorite 90s horror film.
Yeah, I couldn't fault you for that. It's out of all of the movies that we talked about, I probably had more nightmares from that than I did from anything else in the 90s.
I can't think of a single film I found scarier than Candyman. So that's why it's my number 1. And I feel good. We got through that semi-painlessly. And now we kind of get to the point in time where we talk about films that we have relatively recently seen. I'm hoping while I rambled on, you thought of some that you've recently seen.
I don't remember if we talked about it. I think we did. Scary Stories. Did we talk about that last?
I don't remember. I know you talked about wanting to see it. You may have even told me you've seen it.
If we're rehashing it, then we're rehashing it. But my wife picked up a copy of that for me, and we watched it. And it was pretty good. It wasn't great, but the creature design was really good. Creepy as fuck.
Is it anthology style?
No, it's basically like it takes place during Vietnam, which I thought was an interesting time frame. And this girl and her friends are being chased by bullies. They jump into this Mexican guy's car who's just watching a movie in a drive-in. and they talk him into going to this haunted house with them on Halloween. And the bullies chase him in there and lock him in the basement. And while they're down there, they find the book that this woman who had lived in this haunted house wrote. And they take it with them, and it starts writing the actual scary stories from the book, the ones that feature in it. And as it writes them, each of them becomes a victim, blah, blah, blah. But again, like, the creature design was fucking spot on with the illustrations from the book. It wasn't great, but I would put it at like a solid 8.
Okay. I want to ask you a question before I forget. One of the films I didn't get to before we did this podcast was Kronos. Have you ever seen Kronos with Ron Perlman? It was like Guillermo del Toro's first feature length, I think.
I have not. I've heard about it, but I've never seen it.
It's on HBO Max, but I can't seem to get the closed captionings to work. And with my loud ass air conditioner, I don't want to blare my TV, so I couldn't really enjoy it currently. I was just kind of hoping you had seen it, but that's something I'll be able to talk about next podcast. But anyways, just wanted to ask, anything else you've seen?
I watched a couple movies on your Vudu that I had wanted to see for a while that I just hadn't been able to find a copy of. So the first one was Let Us Pray.
With Liam Cunningham, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I really enjoyed it for what it was. Yeah, I didn't think it was great, but I liked it overall. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a movie that you can watch once or twice and feel fine about it. It was worth the $5 for me, I thought. And Pollyanna McIntosh is in it, who I'm a huge fan of. I wanted to bring up though that Liam Cunningham is in a show that's on Amazon. It is called Electric Dreams, and in the episode that he's in, it's him. It's like an anthology type show, and it's him and Bryan Cranston. I haven't got to see it yet, but I'm really excited about those two working together.
That would be a good dynamic.
Yeah. I don't know. Was it just me, or did Pollyanna McIntosh's character? I don't know. At times I found her a little annoying, I guess, in Let Us Pray.
Was she the main character?
Yeah, she was PC Rachel Heggie or Hoagie, whatever.
Yeah. Yes, I can understand that. It was that was a weird fucking police station. I'm not gonna fucking lie.
Very weird, yeah.
Like, I don't, they were bad cops.
Oh yeah, they were not very good. Yeah. I don't know. I found Liam Cunningham. He steals the show, no matter how you look at it.
Yes.
And I don't know if people don't know Liam Cunningham by name. He played Sir Davos in Game of Thrones. So right now you just had your aha moment, perhaps.
Yes. Not only that, he was fucking what's his name in Dark Soldiers.
I've never seen that.
You've never seen Dark Soldiers?
No, I think you and I've talked about it. I think you've brought it up quite a few times. I'm like, I'll get around to it, and well, apparently that was a lie on my part. I'm just gonna be honest here. I didn't get around to it. I think I have it somewhere here, though. I'm pretty sure. When you have like access to, well, when you forget like all the streaming options and you just say I have access to probably 1,000 films either on like my digital accounts or on DVD, I'm like, oh, I don't ever know where to begin.
Did you mute yourself again?
No. Can you hear me?
I can hear you again. Yes. No.
Okay. I may have hit fat fingers. I'm just gonna move along. Tell me more. Oh wait, did you know that Liam Cunningham's gonna be in Masters of the Universe? as
I
Man at
just saw
Arms.
that.
Yeah,
That,
I got
yeah,
excited.
that works for me.
I think that's a good choice. I didn't even look at who else. Did you look at the cast for it?
I did not. But now I'm seeing.
What?
Let's see.
Diedrich Bader, Kevin Conroy mix is cool. Mark Hamill Skeletor, Lena Headey, Phil Lamar, Justin Long, Jason Mewes. Wow, I like everything I'm seeing so far.
Henry Rollins.
I like Henry Rollins a lot.
I do too.
Where the fuck's
Tony Todd.
No shit. Stephen Root. Harley Quinn Smith, isn't that Kevin Smith's daughter?
It is.
And Chris Wood. Who the fuck is Chris? Oh, Cree Summer. I love her too. I don't know who Chris Wood is, but he's He-Man. Not been in much of anything that I'm familiar with. Oh well. I'm still excited to see it. That's where I'm at.
It'll be interesting to see if they do a good job with it.
Well, with that cast, I'm hoping, like, I don't know. I'll be cautiously optimistic. We'll go with that. All right. Any other movies you've seen? You said you saw more on My Voodoo than Let Us Pray, right? You saw something
After
else?
that, I watched Behind the Mask: The Rise of Leslie Vernon.
Please tell me you liked it.
I did.
Thank
and
God.
I was kind of like, why is he just? I picked up on the twist before it happened. Like significantly before it happened. I was kind of like, why is he just throwing away? And then, at the end when he gets out of the body bag, I was like, okay, that's why.
Yeah. And, the thing about that film, I don't want to say above all else, but god damn it, Psycho Killer gets stuck in my head for at least a day after seeing that freaking movie.
That was that was good. I was like, I couldn't remember who sang it too. I was listening to it, and I was like, oh yeah, Talking Heads.
I know that part 2 is either it's already written. I don't know if they ever began production or not, but part 2 is happening. I know that.
That's awesome. I'm looking forward to that then.
Yeah. Did you know that the main girl was one of the sisters in Home Alone?
I did not, but now that you mentioned that, I could kind of see it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And I love that had to have been one of Zelda Rubinstein's or Stein's final films, I think. I love her. She, you know who I'm talking about. She was the librarian in that one.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
And Robert Englund, Kane Hodder, ever so briefly. I don't know if you caught that too.
Where was he at in it?
He was standing in front of Freddy's house or something like that when they were going over all the horror people.
Gotcha. Okay.
So very brief, but yeah. Anything else you saw?
I watched Ready or Not. I don't know how much you would consider that a horror movie or a thriller or a comedy.
I don't know anything about it.
Samara Weaving was in it. It was really good.
Is this the hide and seek one?
Yeah.
It's on HBO, right?
It's on HBO. That's where I watched it. Yeah.
Okay. Don't spoil much, but is it worth a watch?
It is. It's one of those. It's definitely a black comedy, and I think when you get done, you'll see why I think it falls into horror rather than just staying in thriller territory.
Okay. Well, my understanding was that the family kind of made it into a horror, but I don't know much about it. Just what little bit I've read about it, I kind of had a general idea of where it may be heading, but I could be way off because I thought I knew everything when I saw You're Next, and I did not.
Yeah. I was it's one of those things where you see something and you get the context and you're like, they're not going to tell me yes or no, and then they very definitively tell you the answer at the end, but you have to go all the way to the end to get there.
Gotcha. I actually already added this to the watch list or whatever function they have
Dude,
on it.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, I know a lot of people were bashing HBO Max now, whichever one it is now.
It's Max, yeah.
When it came out, because like it wasn't on Roku and it wasn't on Kindle and blah blah blah. But I went through. It took me 2 hours to make my watch list. There's just so much shit on there that I wanted to see.
I'm shocked that they end up with a lot of the Criterion films, all the cartoon stuff. That's, I admit, the first thing I watched on HBO Max was like the original run of Scooby Doo. That's what I did.
I'm going through watching the later seasons of Robot Chicken that I never saw. When I got rid of cable.
I mean, hell, I'm super excited that they picked up South Park. So, like, I have less and less reason to keep Hulu now because of that. Just they picked up a lot of stuff that I personally am interested in, and my TV actually had the app, so I didn't have to worry about. I have 3 different streaming devices. I have a Shield TV, I have the Fire Stick, and I have Roku. So, fortunately, I didn't have to be one of those pissy people.
Yeah, I run everything through my Xbox, so it worked out for me. And I mean, my wife and I have the HBO, and we pay for the Hulu package with Disney Plus and all that shit.
Yep.
ESPN Plus, and then we use my mom's Netflix and Amazon. So basically, I've got like just about every fucking streaming thing covered. And like, it was fun to watch The Mandalorian, and there's a bunch of stuff for my son on there. But really, until like maybe next year now, because of the way the pandemic's going, until Disney Plus really starts taking off with like season 2 of The Mandalorian and all the Marvel stuff, I'm really feeling like HBO was the way better deal in regards to streaming.
I just had this conversation Saturday night. I'm like, I have no real inspiration right now to pick up Disney Plus. But the thing I did is I split the cost for the full year with 2 people, so we each paid like $20. We got it for like $60, and to me that was worth it. But I really haven't used Disney Plus, so I'm
like we already were doing Hulu, so adding it on for like an extra $2 a month wasn't a big deal. Because I mean,
but don't they add ads on Hulu when you do it that way?
Yeah, I mean, so we lost like, but like a lot of the stuff that we watched, was already on like it was, instead of being the no ads plan, it was on like the one. You have to watch one ad before you start the show.
Okay. And how is it? Is that how it is now, or do they add more ads with that particular deal?
It's about the same. Like I haven't really noticed a difference in anything that I watch. I know my wife watches a lot more on Hulu than I do.
See, that was something I was trying to find out, like online, like how many ads I'd have to put up with, because I'm already paying. I pay monthly for ESPN Plus. I pay monthly for Hulu without the ads, and then I also have Disney. I'm like, Jesus, if I could just get that deal, I'd save substantial money.
I mean, monetarily, it was worth it. Like, I don't really use ESPN too much, just because, like, typically when I'm awake, shit's not going.
You're right. Yeah, that makes sense. Dude, I don't really watch many live sports. There's a couple shows that I like that I can watch at any time. So, like, for me, that's all I need. Plus, I like the 30 for 30.
Yeah, but the just picking up the extra shows that I was interested in on Disney was worth $2 a month.
Absolutely.
So we'll say, like, if the stuff that's supposed to be coming out, like WandaVision, Mandalorian season 2, Winter Soldier and Falcon, and Loki, if all that stuff, Hawkeye, if all that stuff turns out to be great, then yeah, great, it's worth it. We'll keep it. If it doesn't, I have no problem saying, hey, see you later. I'm really, really enjoying Doom Patrol on HBO Max. Like, I would suggest if anybody's into fucked up shit to watch that. Not just like superhero fans.
Like, is it action, comedy? What is it exactly? Because I've heard about it, I just don't know anything about it.
All right, imagine kind of like, I don't want to say like a B team of superheroes. They're more like a C team, and they're not even really heroes. But like, it's just like the situations they get into are so fucked up. Like in the first episode, the guy who like brings them all together gets sucked into an alternate universe through a donkey.
Okay.
Yeah, like, and it's worth it. Like Brendan Fraser does a voice for it, and like he drops, and like one point he drops like 35 fucking F-bombs in like less than a minute. It's just
wow. Okay.
yeah, it's I think it's one of those like, and like critics like it, so of course not as many people see it, but I just think it's probably the best written DC thing I've seen in a long time.
All right. I think that's something I would like to try at the very least. Are they hour-long episodes, half hour?
Yeah, they're hour-long episodes. I just want to say I think season 1 was like maybe 12 or 13 episodes, and season 2, the next one will be episode 7.
Okay.
Comes out every Thursday, so.
Cool, I'll give that a shot. That actually sounds good. I'll take a note for that as well.
So yeah, I think there was another 1 or 2 horror movies or shows I've watched, but I can't fucking I can't think of them. I do know one thing I wanted to ask you if you had seen. I was watching a review video on YouTube about a movie called Possum.
Nope, never seen it. Never heard of it.
It's a British horror movie. I think it came out a year or 2 ago, maybe, with Sean Harris and Ellen Armstrong. Sean Harris was that. If you saw the last couple Mission Impossibles, he was the bad guy in that. He was in Prometheus. He's been in some other stuff I've seen. It looked creepy, and I was just curious if you had an opinion on it.
No. Is it available? Oh, that's okay. I wanted to watch that one night, and Raylene was here, and she saw the goddamn cover with what looks like a goddamn fucked up spider thing, and she wasn't having it, so we didn't watch it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that looks fucking creepy as fuck. Like I can't imagine like living with that thing in your bedroom.
Hell no. No, that has been on my radar. What's that? Is that on Netflix? It's on something.
It says Prime.
Prime, okay.
I could be watching it.
Dude, I've looked through so many things as of late, like I cannot keep shit straight anymore. I don't think they have Braid on Prime anymore, and I'm upset about that. I wanted to... Well, I think I still have a copy somewhere, so either way, but I wanted more people to see Braid just to get opinions, and I didn't know anybody that saw Braid. But I'll say this, Amazon Prime right now, bar none, the best selection for horror fans, in my opinion.
You know what surprises me is how much is actually on Hulu too.
Hulu has a lot.
Yeah, I never think about it.
But
so, like after the fact.
I hate Hulu's app. I really find navigating on their app to be annoying as hell.
Yeah, it's not the most friendly, maneuverable app.
Like sometimes I just want to choose movies, horror, A through Z. Oh, and my Alexa's talking to me right now. That's cool. Oh well. All right. So was that all the recent stuff you've seen? Any
Yeah,
shows?
all the recent stuff that I can remember.
Okay. I have a list because something I'm planning on doing, since I'm just stuck in this rut. I just haven't posted anything in like months now. There are times where I'm just like terrified of even like writing stuff and posting online because of, we'll say, people's sensitivities currently. That like I'm terrified of like making some of my jokes nowadays. But I feel like at some point or another I gotta get my head on my ass and just post some stuff. And if people don't like it, they don't like it. Whatever. I'm not a multi-million-dollar company or anything. You know, worst case, people just don't come back. You know what I mean? But I have a list of films that I've watched over the past few months that I want to do smaller blogs on. And I'm not going to go through this whole long list because a lot of the stuff you and I have already talked about. I will mention some of them, though. I watched Glass. Have you seen that?
I haven't. I was so excited when I heard about it, watching the trailers leading up to it, and then I had it spoiled for me. And when I heard what the twist was, I kind of was just like, "Fuck it."
Oh God, the seeds were planted so early for that twist that it's an okay movie. It's still above average, but that's about it's worth it to see James McAvoy. Honestly,
He's
well
fucking
worth
awesome. He's an awesome actor.
He's improved so much over the years. I'm so impressed by him. So
From Mr. Tumnus?
yes. I don't know. I would say it's still worth a watch. If nothing else, just for him. I like how they tied some stuff together. Samuel L. Jackson is still cool as shit. Bruce Willis plays his role cool. But at the end, like, the twist was so there, I guess. So, it is what it is. I've also been watching like a lot of older movies. Like showed Raylene Taxi Driver. She'd never seen it, and you know, after seeing Taxi Driver, I'm like, it really suited De Niro to actually be in the Joker, because although they're not two in the same, there's a lot of similarities between Taxi Driver and the Joker, and I don't know. I don't know. They kind of go together for me in some weird way, I suppose.
I mean, I would say like a good comparison I've seen is like people compare the Joker to like a mix of Taxi Driver with what was it, the Greatest Show, the comedy one, stand-up one he did in the I'm losing my mind.
Okay. Who did it? Who are you referring to?
Give me a second. I think Scorsese.
Oh, okay. Something I'm probably not familiar with then. But yeah, I mean, Taxi Driver still holds up. It's interesting to see like how like beautiful Sybil Shepherd was in that film, because I didn't know Sybil Shepherd other than like from her TV show, and like to go back in time, like she was really beautiful. You know, weird to see young Jodie Foster, that sort of thing.
The King of Comedy. Sorry, that was
King.
what I was thinking.
Okay, yeah, I'm not familiar with that. But I have watched a lot of comedies. I rewatched Old School. I rewatched Office Space. One of the funniest realizations I've had within the past month is rewatching the awful G.I. Joe movie. And, like, you watch this terrible action film, and, like, you think, okay, you're going to get to your end credits, they're probably going to play some generic music. No. What did they play? They played the Black Eyed Peas Boom Boom Pow, and I'm like, wow, you guys clearly knew your audience, right? Like, that's not your audience. Like, I'm sorry, but like That's just not your audience. It just isn't. So, I rewatched a film called CB4, which was a mockumentary of gangster rap back in the 90s. It starred Chris Rock.
Yeah, I remember that.
It doesn't hold up at all, man. Phil Hartman tries, and I remember being funny as hell back in the 90s. It doesn't hold up well, and I love gangster rap, but there's still some funny lines, but it used to be way funnier. A big time movie that I'd never seen. I don't know if you ever saw Shape of Water.
Shape of what? Which one was that? Oh, yes, the Guillermo one.
Yeah. You saw it?
Yes.
Were you?
I'm a
big on
big
it?
Guillermo. Yeah, I'm a big Guillermo fan. Just like it's been a while since I saw something that he did that I didn't like.
I still haven't seen Pan's Labyrinth. I know. But I did like Shape of Water. I think Michael Shannon, he's another guy. I'd like to see him and Sam Rockwell do something together.
He's really interesting because have you ever watched an interview with him?
No.
He comes off almost autistic.
Oh, really?
Like very low key, hard to meet people. Maybe less autistic and more like Asperger's, but like very low key, very even keeled, very short and succinct answers. You know, when people are asking him questions and shit.
Right. Is he like shy in that regard, or just
He's not. Yeah, he's not very outgoing. So it's interesting.
Huh. Yeah, I've never seen, but I've seen so much of his stuff, and I'm like, Jesus, what was it? He was in Man of Steel, right? As Zod.
Yeah.
Like, even that movie, whatever, it was what it was. Like, I thought he shined there. I thought he shined in the horror film Bug. I don't know, I've seen him probably like 5 or 6 things, and I think he's probably been the best thing in every single film I've seen him in. Although I thought the main lady in Shape of Water was also very good. I didn't quite know how to get a read on her early on, but she did good. And Richard Jenkins, that
He's
guy,
really good. Yeah, he's
yeah,
underrated.
he really is. He's really underrated. So, what else did I recently see? I feel like did we talk about Flash Gordon last time we did this? I think we did.
Yes, because I remember bringing up Blades of Glory.
Yes, you did. Recently rewatched Memento, and I have no qualm saying that's still a top 10 film for me.
Yeah, it's such a good movie.
And dude, like, I don't want to make this about me, but since I've had like all the head issues and like the memory issues, that movie rang true to me in 2000, 2001 whenever I first saw it. That movie rings true to me so much more now. Like, some of the things I'm like, oh, wow, okay, like it really rings true to my day-to-day life of like taking notes and stuff. Like, obviously I don't have tattoos telling me to take out the trash, but still.
One thing I find interesting that somebody has suggested, and I think this might be getting closer and closer to being true, but I heard somebody recently suggest that Christopher Nolan, if he keeps it up, could potentially bypass Spielberg as the greatest director of all time.
Inception will always hold Nolan back, but
I love Inception. That's the top 3 favorite movies ever for me. So,
oh god, Nolan can be in my top 5, and he could get higher. He's never going. Under no circumstances can he pass Kubrick.
I think it's easy to pass Kubrick just because Kubrick had a relatively non-prolific career.
I can't have him going past Kubrick because everything he did was just such a thing for me. And the only person that passes Kubrick for me is Tarantino, and everything kind of depends on the quote unquote final film, if the next one's the final film, because Once Upon a Time in Hollywood really made it iffy between Tarantino and Kubrick for me. So I love Nolan, don't get me wrong, I really do. It's just I truly despised Inception on so many levels. So whereas like Tarantino, the worst thing I can say for him is he did Death Proof, and well, yeah, I didn't like that. I could still watch it. I don't know. I haven't. Nolan did Interstellar, right?
Yes.
I haven't seen that. I do own it. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen a few of his more recent films, and I owe it to myself to go and watch those. Because I mean, dude, I have a DVD or Blu-ray box set of Christopher Nolan. Like, it's not that I dislike the guy. I love the guy. He's really one of my favorites. It's just the one particular film made me lose my collective shit, so to speak.
See, I don't know. I mean, like that's like saying you prefer Eyes Wide Shut to friggin' Inception.
Oh, I love Eyes Wide Shut. Yeah.
Oh, see, okay, okay. The Kool-Aid is coming out.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I actually went to the movies and saw it with Eric, Craig, and I don't remember one other person. We watched it, and we went to Godfather's. Well, we went to Hess, which had Godfather's Pizza, and we just stood around waiting for our damn mini pizzas and just talked about it. And yeah, I know it's. I'm not even going to tell you it's a great movie, but I love the movie. You know, it's no different than Maximum Overdrive. I know it's not a great movie, but I love the movie.
Yes, I can agree with you there. Well, if we don't have really too much more to go into,
I have one more.
Okay.
Just one more that I just saw. The Old Man and the Gun. With Robert Redford.
I haven't seen that.
It has Redford, it has Sissy Spacek, Danny Glover, Tom Waits, and Casey Affleck. And it's only like a 93-minute long film. Just recently purchased it. I highly recommend it to anybody that like looks at the trailer and says, "All right, this might be good." I think you'll have a fun time with it. I'm not going to say it's going to change your life. It's not life altering, but it's a fun movie. There's bank heist. There's a little bit of romance. There's a little bit of something for everyone. And it's based on a real dude. I don't know. It's worth your time, in my opinion. But
Okay.
you know, watch. It's one of those things. Watch the trailer. If it don't look interesting, the movie's, you know.
I will say this. I didn't discover Robert Redford until I was older. Just like I didn't discover Clint Eastwood until I was older. But I've been pretty much entertained by the majority of everything I've ever seen him in, or everything that he's ever done.
There's a lot of actors like that you know I just didn't pay attention to when I was younger, or you know, it wasn't my type of films. And yeah, as I've gotten older, I've grown to appreciate a lot of these guys, and Redford's one of them. I would agree with that. So, and that's it. I know we want to wrap up, and next month we're talking The Evil Within 1 and 2.
Yep. How are you coming on that?
I
Have you even
started. I did. I swear to God, I started it, and I was really tired. I got to the point, I was in the car, and we were driving to the place. We get out of the car, and there was some talking, and then I was like, nope, I'm not going to stay awake for this. So I'm at the very, very, very beginning, but I did get that far.
Okay. Well, at least you got that far.
Also, this is my pledge for next podcast. A, podcast will have been posted between now and then. B, I will have watched Dr. Sleep.
That's good, dude. I don't know. I'm running out of things to suggest to you if you're never going to watch them. So
I will watch them just in good time, but I will because I also got the two films that there were a sequel that you recommend that's still on my list that I have to get through. I can't.
And the last thing I want to bring up before we stop, super excited about, I don't know when it actually is coming out, but it's really soon, Peninsula,
What is that?
the sequel to Train to Busan.
Oh, okay. Quick question, and this is going to cover spoiler alert, whatever. I saw on a lot of lists of like films that'll make you cry. A lot of people had Train to Busan. What was so sad about that? I've forgotten, I guess.
Basically, like, all the dads die, like, I don't.
Okay. That was like the main gist of it was the father.
So like you got the one father, the badass, like, working man dude. Mm-hmm. The one who taped up his arms and shit.
Okay.
He's got the pregnant wife, and he bites it, and asks the other guy to look out for him, and then right at the end, as they're about to fucking, take off on the last train, the fucking dude bites him, and he's knows he's going to turn, so he gives himself up so his daughter and the woman will get out.
Okay. I have a question I'm going to pose to you, and I would like an answer by the time we come back.
Okay.
So, topic Saturday night was films and TV shows that make you cry. And I said, I posed the question, has there ever been a horror movie that made you cry? Not because you were scared, but because of like a super sad moment.
Oh, dude, I cry all the fucking time. I'm not going to lie. I cry like... My wife laughs at me all the fucking time as we're watching shit. She's like, "Oh, you fucking crying now?" Like, almost weekly on Grey's Anatomy, because I watch that with her. Like, I'll be like, "Shut up." There's something in my eye. But no, I cry all the time.
But do you cry at horror, though?
I want to say I probably cried a couple times during The Haunting at Hill House season 1. Yeah, like... I'd have to think about it for a little bit, but like, dude, yeah, every time Independence Day, Randy Quaid goes up in the plane.
Oh God, yes, dude.
Tell my kids I love them. Yeah, I fucking.
Yeah, trust me that this is we probably talked for like an hour about all the times that Gladiator, Man on Fire, Charlotte's Web. There's a long list for me, but. It's just like the whole idea of a horror film. I only came up with one answer so far. And it's such a bad answer, but I know I've cried at the end of Monster Squad.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the only one. So that's why I'm saying, like, hopefully in a month, maybe you think of a couple that I have completely overlooked. Because, you don't really equate crying with horror films in that regard.
Yeah, I'll think about it.
All right,
guys. Well, I probably got to get going pretty quickly here because I hear my wife getting ready to murder my son, and I don't want to star in a horror movie. So it's by the way, it's 2 a.m. as we're finishing this up, so that's probably why she's a little pissed off. Thank you for paying attention with us. Kent, if you talk to Joe again, thank him for coming on and giving a more nuanced opinion than either yours or mine.
Absolutely, yeah. I'll be talking to him probably tomorrow. And yeah, thank you again thank you listeners for spending time. Thank you, Chris, for listening to me babble incoherently about shit that we've talked about.
And just remember, coming up next one we do, which probably be in about a month and a half, it's going to be something a little different. Instead of doing movies, we're going to be talking about the Evil Within video game series. And that's going to be up at 9deuce.com/podcasts.
Yes.
All right. There you go, guys. Peace out. And stay sane in this fucking crazy world.
Absolutely. Don't be haters.